Potatoes, potatoes on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all? Welcome.
It's thee of many eyes.
Thee of many eyes. Welcome to Green and Faceless on the Couch. I'm the Green Traveler.
And I'm the Faceless Leone.
Today we're going away from the threesomes.
Yeah.
And we're going to set up a playlist for you. Starting, we have many playlist options available to us, but we're going to start with Disney. Most approachable, I would say.
Yeah. Everybody, in one way or another, has enjoyed a Disney movie, I would say. You could have your opinions on whether or not you like Disney as a whole. We'll leave the political, economic opinions off the table. But all
though
started...
we may trash.
What's that?
We may trash Walt Disney himself a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, yeah. We'll see.
He's a little anti-Semitical.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, yeah.
Just a smidgen.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also other problems. Also dealing with racial issues and stuff like that. But anyway, we both grew up watching Disney movies, but it all started with Snow White. But before we get into Snow White, I just want to say this is a movie about podcasts. Nope. This is a podcast about movies, and we're not gonna try to spoil too much about this movie, but it is from 36, right? 1936? 37. And so you've had time to watch this movie.
Though they worked on it from 1933, I think.
Oh, really? I could believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to draw stuff from hand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we also sometimes slip in things about world events, and that's not our focus, though. We're here to talk about Snow White. Well, Greenie, you want to do a synopsis?
No. Yeah, I'll do it. It's pretty simple. There's a queen, an evil queen, who asks her slave mirror. That's literally what she calls it, slave in the mirror.
Oh my god.
Slave in the magic mirror. But she asks him who is the fairest of all the land. And he responds that it is not her, it is Snow White.
Yeah.
So that really pisses her off, and Snow White is her stepdaughter. So obviously she has no emotional attachment, so she just,
Yeah, because
who
could love a stepchild?
I guess, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so kill the bitch and make me the fairest one of all. So she hires a huntsman. The huntsman is too, I don't know, enraptured by Snow White's not only just beauty, but just perfect, kind nature.
Right.
That, he doesn't have the heart to kill her. And so Snow White runs away and finds 7 dwarves.
Yeah, I suppose we should say the title is Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. It's not just Snow White.
Yeah, I mean, nobody remembers the 7 dwarfs. No, they love the 7 dwarfs.
I'm sure people remember them.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, you have that awkward situation of, one just perfect woman with 7 just crazy guys.
Yeah.
All with their own, weird, eccentric personalities. And
thusly named. Yeah.
And thusly named. And, it's just... and then the queen is still in there somewhere, wanting Snow White killed, so... Right. That's it.
That's the synopsis,
I guess.
Yeah, that's the synopsis. So, what were we talking about first? Were we going to talk about our feelings about the movies? Yeah.
I guess we should say it's based off of the German fairy tale from the Brothers Grimm, which we'll get into later. They based it off of other stuff. Yeah. But yeah, thoughts on the movies. The movie. I liked Snow White. I really liked it when I was a kid. Right. Rewatching it, it's still fun. The music's still enjoyable. you can't help but watch Snow White and just feel like, I want to be more like her. It's the world's chaotic, and I just want to whistle while I work and relax and have a damn good time.
Yeah, she's definitely a calm, collected young woman. She definitely fits into those gender norms of latter centuries, but that's okay. I'm not going to blame the movie for this. She also just she likes to do it though, and there are people like that who like to be of service to other people because they think it's kind, and I like that.
And she's without a doubt very kind.
Yes, very kind.
The kindest and fairest in all the land, you might say.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, well, I would say that growing up, this wasn't one of my favorites.
No.
I think, honestly, the transformation sequence scared me a little bit. There's an old croon at the end.
There's a lot of eerie sequences.
Yes, there are.
There was one right at the beginning where Snow White gets lost in the woods, and you have all these eyes looking at her through the trees, and it's everything's freaking around. And she's panicking, and that whole animation, I remember that scaring me as a kid.
Yeah. The tree scene does kind of scare you too, but I also feel like somewhere in the middle there, I get a little bored of it. At least as a kid, I did. I honestly enjoyed watching it more as an adult. I think it's usually around the silly song that you sing.
Yeah.
That I would get bored as a kid and walk away from the TV. But honestly, that's my favorite part of the movie now, mostly because of that the wood carved organ. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I would like to really see something that works like that. And they really did a good job of animating the mechanics of the pipe organ. And that was so cool to me.
Yeah.
I definitely would not have picked up on that as a kid.
No, I can believe that. I feel like even as a kid, the Dwarves were my favorite part of this movie. Just because of the comedic bit. So it's once they're in the movie, I'm hooked. But I feel like the beginning is where I'm lost when I was a kid. Because, it doesn't grab me as a kid because I was just I don't care. She's singing a romantic song about, finding Prince Charming. It's as a kid, I just, I wanted fun and antics, damn it. But those do come once the Dwarves enter, and, I even think they have the best songs. I honestly can't remember many songs outside of theirs.
No, I think, dang, I can't remember any of the titles of the songs right at the top of my head, but I do get the Wishing Well song stuck in my head now, more than but you can't get anything stuck in your head more than the Hi Ho song. That one just is there, and the beginning is so different, I feel than the rest of the song. I just get the beginning stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's the echoey chant.
Just
Hi Ho.
Honestly, it has gotten me through many a work day.
It really does help. Yeah. No, I like that. I like Whistle While You Work. I'm a whistler myself, and the difference between the Snow White Disney World is they encourage you whistling in the Disney World, and the real world, the ladies I want to work with want to kill me when I whistle. Doesn't stop me though.
Fuck them.
Doesn't stop me.
Good. I got in trouble a couple times for whistling at my most recent job. I worked in a theater, and there's some superstition about whistling in the theater, with good reason. I know my theater history, and they used to have old sailors do the rigging for shows and stuff in their off season, and they would use whistles to communicate. So if you whistled, you might be giving somebody a cue, and they're like, "Oh, I guess it's time to do that," and then they will let something fly, and you'll get killed. But that's not how it works anymore.
No.
So I don't see why I can't whistle.
Yeah, there's no
while I'm trying to build sets.
Yeah, that's a bad superstition because it has nothing to go off of after that. You don't do once you cancel out and you don't do it that way anymore, then fuck it. You can whistle again.
Let me whistle while I work.
200 years have gone by since they did that.
Yeah.
100 probably.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's been over 4 since Shakespeare was at the Globe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just.
That was probably sailors doing it then. I don't know.
Yeah, I just figured sailors might have been doing it in the 1800s too.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So 150.
Maybe. I don't know.
150-ish.
Yeah. Until coal steam powered engines took over.
The fuck are we even talking about?
Snow White.
Back to Snow White, the first cell animated feature. I think that's one reason I really love this movie and give it a lot of credit is because I love cell animation. For those of you who don't
explain cell. Oh, yeah. You're about to.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, cell animation is where the artist draws literally like every frame. And so they draw that on a cell, CEL. Mm-hmm. And you just mix a bunch of those together and you get film reel basically. But it's like that's one of the things that if I became rich, I would start collecting cells from animations.
That'd be cool.
And anime even. But computers have kind of you could argue rightfully done away with cell animation for the most part. You don't really get that anymore because you can do it all on a computer. It's much quicker, costs probably a lot less. And you're
just time, really. Yeah. Like time is money.
Especially because as we were saying with this movie, they started it around like 1933 or something because the final product is only like 250,000 cells put together, but they drew more than like 2 million different frames. It's just crazy. It's just like imagine trying to do that today. But if you were doing it on a computer, doesn't sound that, it's still a crazy big task, but it doesn't sound as bad. Right.
Because now with illustrating programs, you can just take what you have from the previous frame and build it into the next frame.
Yeah. And, again, I could understand and hear the arguments for why people prefer cell animation. I mean, I personally like that. It's very nostalgic feel. And you got Snow White to thank for it. It was the first feature length cell animation. There were shorts before that and everything like that, of course. This is the first full length movie, and it's beautiful. They got the characters really well done. To make Snow White,
landscapes are nice.
Yeah, to make Snow White look beautiful and I guess give her like a realistic hue, they actually put makeup on the cells. So it's like it's just there's a lot of heart put into the making of this. Story wise, it's a fun and enjoyable story. Kids will enjoy it. It's nothing special. Disney has gone above and beyond this.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I would say like it's a very standard storytell arc. Fairy tale. I don't know if that's what I said. I think I said storytell. But yeah, it's very standard. Girl gets in trouble, prince. Comes along.
Yeah, Prince comes along. 7 men are there. She's surrounded by men throughout this whole movie.
7 men are there.
That was one of my like. There's always Disney innuendos. It's like, oh, does it say sex in the stars? Or there's one moment when Snow White meets the dwarves. She's asleep. You have that Goldilocks moment where somebody breaks into your house and sleeps in your bed, and the dwarves come up and find her sleeping there, and she wakes up, and Doc, who he stumbles over everything he says. He says,
right.
"What are you and who are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I was,
no, what?
Who are you and what are you doing? But it's just like him stumbling over it when he says it like that. It's just like 7 men come upon a sleeping girl and ask who she's doing. I was just like,
yeah,
all right, Disney.
Yeah.
All right, I see your game.
Yeah, there's definitely a parody of that somewhere on the internet, I'm
sure. Probably about 7 of them.
Yeah.
But it had a short-lived run when it came out as best grossing movie, highest grossing. That's the word I was looking for. It, for a long time, I think it was Birth of a Nation that was like highest grossing for like 15 years.
Oh, well, and that's too bad.
Right. And then something knocked it off. I can't remember what knocked it off, but there was, probably a few other movies in between that and Snow White. But Snow White only got to be a highest grossing movie for 2 years before Gone with the Wind came out. And that carried it for a long time, I'm sure.
Yeah. I know, that movie's classic for a reason.
Yeah. But, there's not really much else to say about the story, so, I guess we should just continue with the dissecting of, how it was made.
Let's go into some production, or should we talk about where the story comes from first?
Let's talk the cast first, maybe, because there's let's get the story stuff, I guess, out of the way completely. I got a few fun facts about the cast, but not a lot. But Snow White's done by Adriana Caselotti, and she's fine. Her singing's beautiful.
Yeah, I got something to say about her singing, actually. So this, her style of singing, her voice, at any rate, is very, very unique. It's a very unique tone.
Yes.
But this film made it very popular, and so people tried to imitate that in popular music.
Oh, no.
And so for a long time, singers were just absolutely ruining their voices trying to imitate this woman who honestly just has a very unique set of vocal cords.
I'll be honest. I love her singing voice. Her speaking voice, I can't stand on.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm with you with that.
There's when I first rewatched this movie a couple years ago, because I watched it as a kid, maybe 2 or 3 times, and I just stopped watching it because it's not the best Disney, and I don't really want to return to it a lot. But when I rewatched it a couple years ago, I couldn't do it. I got maybe 10 minutes in, I was like, I hate her voice so much, and I just backed out. I was like, we're gonna watch something else tonight.
Yeah, it's a. I can't say I'm a big fan of it either, which, I don't blame her for it. That's her voice. Yeah. And it is kind of got that cutesy, naive feel to it. And obviously that's why she was cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, working at the opera house that I mentioned earlier, I've heard singers complain about her. And I'm like, man, geez, she could help she sang that way.
Right. I love, one of my favorite things that's come out of Snow White is, I can't remember the name of it, so I don't want to say too much about it because I can't bring this person any more attention, but somebody remixed a lot of lines from Snow White and made a song out of it, and those remixes are beautiful. They're a little electro or electronic techno-ish.
I can't say I know.
I've played them for you a long time ago, but I'm fairly certain we were very drunk. so you probably wouldn't remember it too well. Hello, this is Greenie from the future coming in to give a shout out to Pogo and the song Wishery. That is the artist I was talking about. Thank you. But yeah, that's her singing's amazing, and that definitely helps this movie a lot because main character, she obviously has a lot of singing roles. The next character would be the witch, or the evil queen, who is played by Lucille Laverne. And this was
Lucille Laverne.
This was Lucille Laverne's last role. She didn't have another movie after this.
Wow.
But a fun fact I read about her was to accomplish her hag voice, the witch's voice, she would remove her false teeth.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so she just she'd perform the queen with the teeth in, but to do the witch, she would just take the teeth out, and that's how she got that little extra haggishness to it.
That's great. And honestly, it is quite the transformation in the voice.
Yeah.
So definitely a good job.
Yeah.
Kudos.
And as you said, that scene itself is almost frightening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, as a kid, it definitely is. And she says all the rhetoric is also very good.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best scenes of language in a Disney film. I would say, when she's casting the spell to transform, and then she calls on the lightning, and then she drinks from the chalice, and
it becomes ugly.
And just becomes ugly, and that's done in shadow.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I feel like it would be kind of hard to make the transformation work frame by frame. That would be super frightening.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
But yeah, she is then this hag, and I would say that the witch character is better portrayed than the queen character.
Yeah.
Not that she did a bad job as the queen character. It's just
there's a lot more fun with the witch.
Yes.
Whereas the queen is just very cold and mean.
Yeah.
Going with that, I don't know why the witch, a lot of, she wants to be the fairest, the prettiest one, and then she's like, fuck it, I'm ugly and I'm gonna kill Snow White. Her
motive is jealousy. I thought about that when I watched the film too. She's so jealous of Snow White that she's willing to destroy the one thing that she holds dearest to basically kill her.
Yeah.
Does she have an antidote to this spell?
I know, right? I was like, is this just a disguise? Is it gonna go away? Is it gonna slip off after a while?
It seems like quite a bit of effort.
Yeah, but once she changes too, she relishes in it. She looks at her hands and she's my hands. Yeah, and then she just starts getting really happy about it. She's like, oh, this is actually fun to be ugly.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it is very strange, but yet her jealousy of Snow White doesn't go away after she realizes that that her inner self reflects better in this new form. She still wants to get Snow White out of the way. So I think that there is some subtext there that she thinks that this spell is reversible in some way.
Yeah.
But she doesn't get to that.
I hope there is.
Yeah.
Just it's spoilers for 10 seconds. Go forward if you don't want any spoiler for any Disney movie ever. Go forward 10 seconds from this point right here. Just like all Disney villains, she falls off a fucking cliff and dies.
Yeah. Yeah. But not only that, 10 more seconds, people.
10 more seconds.
Don't the dwarves roll a giant boulder onto her?
No, she's trying to 10 more seconds, people. She's trying to topple a boulder onto them, but lightning. Lightning strikes, and then the boulder falls with her.
Oh my god!
All right, spoiler people who've been skipping furiously. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Harry Stockwell plays the prince. I got nothing about him. Roy.
Yeah, he says a few things.
He says some things. He sings one song, I think. He's got great lips, apparently.
He sings great lips. Magical, powerful lips.
Powerful lips. The greatest kisser of them all.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like many a fairy tale, this has the true love's kiss trope.
Love it.
Within. Yeah.
She brought back
Gotta have it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just also the creepiest thing, too, is like, he didn't know, nobody knew that true love's kiss would bring her back to life. He just kissed a dead body. Like,
yeah, opens up a coffin.
Yeah,
that's been
there for probably a couple months,
couple weeks,
or a couple weeks at least.
Yeah. They did show the seasons change. Yeah, they did,
and it said that the dwarves were keeping eternal vigil over her. So yeah, like I know eternal. It wasn't years at the very least. It was definitely just a couple weeks. But come on, man. You don't kiss a stale dead body like that. Gross.
Oh man.
He has issues, and she's gonna wake up and like someday she's gonna question that and be like, "Wait a second."
Well, I mean, like, so the spell. I guess this is spoilers too. The spell puts her to sleep.
Yeah.
So maybe she doesn't decompose, but still, the guy knows. Like, as far as the guy knows, she's been dead.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the dwarves know, they put her in a fucking coffin.
Yeah, they put her in a coffin.
Yeah,
but they loved her so much they couldn't bear to bury her.
Yeah, I gotta say the evil queen is pretty freaking stupid because like even in the book, like she reads what the spell is in the book, but like the end of the page ends with ... and she doesn't turn the page to read like can be cured by true love's kiss. She's like she'll be dead.
Right.
It's just like you dumb bitch, just turn the page and like finish reading it. You might want a better spell.
There's I mean you could actually poison the apple.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. Jeez.
But luckily she didn't. And it has a happy ending.
Yeah.
After a few months of the dwarves' turmoil. What's that?
I said I'd say about 7 happy endings.
Yeah. Well, we can make it an even 8.
Even 8. Yeah, the prince
was there. Yeah.
Let's go into the dwarves.
What was the prince's name again?
It's just Prince. Like, I don't know, man.
It is. Yeah, I got the IMDb up, and it's just Prince.
Yeah, he's Prince Charming. Like, it's basically it. That's what Once Upon a Time made him, right?
Yeah, I was one. You know what? I was gonna have a really hard time not bringing up Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
She is like Mary Margaret. There's Snow White. She is definitely a much stronger character than Snow White is. But this is just a kids movie that's barely over an hour long. Yeah. So
well, they also give more depth to her character. To Once Upon a Time.
I mean they got 6 seasons to do that. So.
I mean, like even at the beginning, she kind of starts off. I mean, like it is it's a TV show that has the time to do this. But she starts off as like the innocent, kind, and then she slowly becomes more like action heavy and like kind of
right.
I stopped watching like 2 or 3 seasons in, but it was fun.
I did manage to finish it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I did. I gotta say, like, I almost stopped. Well, I did. I went back to it. I rewatched the first couple of seasons and was like, all right, I'll see how it does slow down in the 4th and maybe 5th season, and then it gets really good again for a short period.
Yeah. Do they give Rumpelstiltskin a good ending? You don't have to tell me the ending. You don't have to tell me if it's...
I like his ending.
That's good enough. All right. He's the only character I cared about.
But I will say the 7th season isn't worth it.
Oh. I didn't even know there was 7. I thought you had said 6 earlier.
That's why I said 6.
Gotcha.
Okay, but we're talking about this Snow White. And I think...
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on. You were saying something.
I was just thinking that maybe we should, unless you got more to say about the cast, maybe we talk about the origins of this story.
Yeah, I had a few more. We'll go faster through the cast. I had a few more fun facts about them. But Roy Atwell plays Doc, and he was a comedian known for stumbling over his lines, which Doc does.
Yep.
Pinto Colvig plays both Grumpy and Sleepy, and he was the original. He was the original voice of Goofy too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can hear that.
Those are completely different voices. All three of those voices.
Yeah, you can definitely hear Goofy and Sleepy though. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
That,
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
Jeez. Otis Harlan plays Happy, and fun fact for you and me is Otis Harlan died and was buried in Martinsville, Indiana.
Huh.
So we could, technically take a road trip to his gravesite.
We could be like, here lies Happy.
Here lies Happy. I bet his coffin says that or something. Or his not coffin, his gravestone. Jeez. We're not gonna dig him up.
Yeah. Just so you could kiss him and bring him back.
Yeah. Scotty Matterall, moving on. Scotty Matterall plays Bashful. Billy Gilbert.
Yeah, I like Bashful.
Billy Gilbert does Sneezy. I guess he was famous for doing sneeze routines as a comedian.
Okay. I like his mustache.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And then Eddie Collins did the voice acting, or did some voice acting, and was the model of Dopey, but the main voice actor was Jimmy McDonald, who voiced Mickey Mouse for, about 3 decades.
I see they also on IMDb gave Pinto Colvig the hiccups for Dopey. So it sounds like a lot of people played Dopey.
Yeah, probably. In this movie. Yeah, Dopey hasn't really aged.
He doesn't have any speaking lines.
Well, no, but he hasn't really also aged well in some regard. They're kind of there's some jokes that I'm just like, all right, come on. I was like, that's a little too much. Like one of them being how they treated him during the washing scene, where they're that is a fun fact for a current topic too. Is we're in a pandemic right now, and it's important to wash your hands. And Snow White has an entire song about that. And it's very good. It's very topical, just do what Snow White does. But there's 2 things I noticed in that was, one, how they treat Dopey is really bad. They kind of just like hit him over the head and like shove him into the water so they could wash him. But the other thing I noticed is Doc does not get cleaned at all. He cleans everyone else, but he never once uses soap and water on himself. He just teaches everyone else.
He's the one who gives the instructions. Yeah. He's like, and you go,
yeah. Then you just motorboat into your hands, get clean.
Yeah, that's right. That's how you wash.
Oh my god.
People, you probably should not just put hand soap all up in your face. There's better ways.
Says you.
But
but yeah, that's the cast. That's it. There's the magic mirror too, but I sadly forgot to write down who voiced him. Well, oh wait, no, I didn't. It's Maroney Olsen.
Maroney Olsen. He's got an interesting voice. I did like his voice.
Yeah, I guess there was a weird process he had to go through to do that, or how he performed the voice was weird. I just don't remember. I don't remember what he was doing, but I heard there was something funny there.
Interesting. To get kind of like that distant effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had like some kind of
cool.
He had to wear something over his head or something like that. I couldn't even believe that when I watched it this time. I'd never noticed that she says slave in the magic mirror. I was just like,
interesting.
I
hadn't even noticed that.
I always thought it was just I just thought it was like an object, just a magic mirror, but then it's like, no, somebody's trapped in there.
Somebody's trapped in there, and they do that. They do it that way in the
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time as well, and I really like the actor they chose for that too. But
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the guy who plays Gus from Breaking Bad.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Thank you. I would never have remembered that.
I fucking love Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad's a good show. We should talk that sometime.
Definitely.
But anyways, where'd this story come from?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the Brothers Grimm before. Brothers Grimm, very famous for collecting old folk tales together and writing them down in a collection, and then revising that collection and re-releasing it again. They made a lot of money off of it and reinvigorated people's interest in these old folk tales.
I mean, I fell in love with them as a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta love them.
Right.
I mean, there's I think the 54 version is probably the version that like we get what I want to say in touch with the most at this time, and I think that they dialed down the darkness for that particular republication. They didn't come up with this story. It was popular in Germany and throughout Europe, but you know, as well as all their other stories that funneled into their collection, they just cleaned them up and took a bunch of different versions and were like, okay, this is our version of the story. And so that's always cool to think about. But where did the people get the folk story from? Folk stories always come from somewhere. Some people believe it came from an ancient Roman myth, Chione, which I probably am saying wrong because I don't speak Greek. It's Greek for snow. And it is not very much like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Very much not as G-rated. Yeah, there's similarities. She gets put under a sleeping spell. Yeah. But it's by the god Mercury, the messenger god, who was in love with her, so that he could rape her. Which there is a lot of rape in Greek myth and Roman myth because they were basically worshiping the same gods. And Apollo loved her too, and he dressed up as an old croon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, there we go.
And then raped her.
Yeah. Oh, dang it.
Yeah, no good. Nope. But then when she wakes up,
the weird part of this whole story is when she wakes up for me. That's she wakes up and she's just like, I'm so beautiful that, you know, these gods were fighting over me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they raped you.
Yeah, you should maybe be more upset.
Yeah, you should. I want a revenge story out of this.
Yeah, but instead she compares herself to be more beautiful than Diana. And so then she gets shot through the tongue.
Yeah.
With an arrow by the huntress goddess.
Diana.
So, that's the way that story goes. Much different.
Yeah.
But you could see where that story being retold over and over again might end up being Snow White.
Yeah, here with Snow White and Disney's version, you have a very kind, just very nice individual and also a strong woman in her own right. By just being kind, she's able to, you know, do a lot.
There are a couple of real life stories that some scholars think might be the source of these this particular fairy tale.
Oh, you don't say.
One has to deal with Margaretha von Waldeck. She was the daughter of a count.
Walden.
And she had a very stern stepmother, and she was sent away to live at other people's courts. And when she was older, she traveled to the Siebengebirge, which probably butchering the pronunciation, but it's the Seven Hills, to live with her mother's brother. So that's a story that some scholars think might be where they got the Seven Dwarfs from. The other stories are it's kind of similar to that, where there's just some small things, some small detail in it.
A mean stepmom to a daughter.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say about the origin of this story. I think that's kind of something interesting about Disney movies, is that they're all based off of older stories. I think it'll be a recurring thing I bring up when we do these playlists.
And that's perfect. There is, I think it's also interesting to talk about, I don't know how the idea to write this came to Walt Disney, like take those stories and do this. But, once he did, I think one of the funny things is he acted it out for the actors and the artists. Maybe just the artists. I don't know if they had the actors there. But, when he had the artists in a room, he acted everything out, played all the roles of everything, just to basically be like, this is the story. This is what we're going to do. It's just, there was a lot of fun to making this movie. It's like, I'm sure it was very challenging, and maybe it wasn't that fun, but it looks and sounds like it was fun.
Right.
Because, Disney, I can't remember how many artists were involved, but like he hired so many artists, and they all took like classes together and kind of learned and grew together, because most of them were like newspaper artists, cartoonists beforehand. And so he kind of just brought them in and made them like way more than newspaper cartoonists.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, like, even the movie even opens up with just like a thank you note to everybody who worked on the film from Walt Disney himself. Like, I honestly don't know much about the man's life. I've kind of avoided learning most about Walt Disney. I'm not really interested in him.
You hear rumors that aren't so great.
Well, for me, it's like, I'm not really interested in him. I'm interested in what he's done. And I know there's a lot of negativity to him, because of how he was. We've had friends who have, I've had friends who've told me a lot about, things he believed in, and I don't agree with the man on a lot of what I've heard.
No,
but I've, I'll leave that as it is. It's just like I'm separating the art from the artist here with this one, because the Disney company has done so much and inspired so many that,
and employ millions.
Yeah, and monopolized a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. I mean, obviously the company has his name on it, but it's kind of hard to equate Disney today to just this one person.
Yeah. But when I go back and think about how this movie was made, the things I hear from this guy sound, like an enjoyable thing to work with. He kind of brings people into a room. He acts it out for everybody. He thanks everybody profusely for doing the job. I mean, everybody gets end credits nowadays, but it's kind of nice to just, like, the movie starts off and it was like, hey, these people put a lot of effort into this, and I want to thank them for doing this, because like everybody was telling Disney to not make this movie. His wife, his friends, like everybody was like, don't. You spend a lot of money, a lot of time on this movie, but it comes out and it's like, the highest grossing film. It's like, it's a huge success, and it starts something that, I'm thankful for. A lot of what Disney did
we wouldn't have feature length animated movies if this didn't come out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Somebody would have done it probably, but like, this is the beginning of it.
Yeah, where you have something that takes off, but it has quite a few hiccups from the start. That's one way that things become popular, is you don't really hear about them for 10 years. They just kind of hiccup along until they become popular. Right. This was a good spearhead. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but this is a good front runner for this, because it took off immediately, and we got a huge huge craze of animation from there.
Yeah.
And like a lot of my childhood,
people already liked Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, he did a whole movie. Okay, I'll watch it."
Steamboat Willie.
Well, I think we talked pretty sufficiently about Snow White, man.
Yeah, I think so. The next one of the Disney playlist, we don't know when we'll get to it, but I think it's Pinocchio.
You might be right. We'll double make sure, but if we're not, we'll let you know if we're wrong.
Be prepared. This playlist, it'll take us probably a decade if we're still at it.
Yeah.
To complete this playlist, but we're gonna try to do it chronologically. Just the animations though. But try to go off throughout the whole Disney animated career, which spans nearing, I guess 80
nearing
plus years.
A century.
Yeah, we're 83 years right now, I think.
Yeah, nearing a century. Wow,
it's crazy.
For sure. Well, I hope you couch potatoes enjoy this. We're kind of also hoping that stuff like this, a little bit shorter, like you could grab this in between your long stretches of our threesomes and other shenanigans.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoy it. I've been the Faceless Leone.
And I'm the Green Traveler.
Safe travels, everybody. Do you thirst for adventure? Do you search for laughter and friendship?
Ha 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 ha!
Then don't miss the adventures in Valagorn! Welcome to a new world of fantasy, fun, and action! Coming to you as a monthly serial starting on January 19th of 2021. And brought to you by the imaginative people of FictionWorks 19. Starring Greg Callahan as Raphael Anastas Magoo, Sarah Christ as Vashti Whisperwind, and Kenneth Glynn as Pai Sho Wukong. We'll see you in Valagorn. The Adventures in Valagorn. Hey there, couch potatoes. This is the Faceless Leone here. Tell you about our new addition to the show. We will be bringing to you 2 episodes a week, starting on Monday the 4th of January, 2021. I'll tell you, thank you for letting that year be over. We're going to bring in the new year nice and strong, 2 episodes a week. Do our regular thing Thursday, nothing's changing there, but on Mondays, we are now going to be bringing to you playlists. We're going to start off with watching the Disney movies, the OG Disney movies from chronological order. We'll break it up there with some other things. Who knows what we might do. But we're looking at some long series of movies. Anyways, we hope that you, the listener, the potatoes at home, enjoy it. Safe travels. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. If you liked the show, please leave a review, like, follow, or subscribe wherever you listen. This will help us grow our show. Be sure to visit us at facebook.com/greenandfaceless. There you'll find many links to our show and to our website. Thank you all very much for listening.